Hello, dear friends. This is Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with a lot of hope and light. And you're welcome to join us today as we're going to study a poetic story that talks about life and love. The book, Hope and Light, majority of the messages were psychographed in 1993 by Chico Xavier. Several spirit authors, Emílio, Maria Dolores, Humberto de Campos, Castro Alves, Jair Presente, Cornélio Pires. Today, we have a different spirit author named Antenor Orste, and he's going to talk about family. Well, if we're talking about hope, inevitably, we need to talk about family. Because deep inside, that's where it all began. So today I have to say something. Rihanna is here and talking about family. She did such a beautiful work. I saw a little bit of the broadcasting with your granddaughter. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Singing together, Jesus Loves Me. Beautiful, Rihanna. Congratulations. That's adorable, and it's so important to bring this new generation to do their share. You know, it's important that we do this because it stays in their memory and they feel, they understand that they are also being called to do the work. Beautiful, Rihanna. Hello, Sol Souza. Hello, Daisy. So today we're going to talk about family. Of all things, family is the most important and at the same time the trickiest. Who doesn't dream of a beautiful family, harmonized, brothers, sisters, mother, father, children, spouses, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents? Deep inside, we all dream about the harmony in the family. Interesting enough, this harmony is not second nature. Many people feel guilty thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? Some people have it, some people don't. Spiritism has a different perspective on it, and we're going to talk about it today, okay? Let us then march to the very message, and from the message, we're going to move to the study together. Are you ready, friends? Let us feel the harmony within building up. May everyone who is connected to us, incarnates, discarnates, feel this banquet of light and receive the blessings of this moment, shall we? Okay? So this is how Antenor Orta begins this poetic story. He says, there are two fraternal hearts who look at each other in delight. Friends all around say that they are already dating. They exchange beautiful words and gold petals. They walk every night, kissing on the roads. They remember facts. They tell stories in the most diverse expression of the most diverse expression. They are happy to their satisfaction. They announce the engagement and plan on the wedding. The wedding happened according to old standards, prayers, treats, and gifts, amid friendly voices. Now they smile together, safeguarding the light of peace, since they do what they want, seeking what pleases them. But after a few months, the time for boredom comes. She shows sad face, he has the dark look. When he arrives, she says, change your frowning face. He replies, if I had reflected well, I would have never got married. And the couple lives in silence, suffering bitter tension. instead of searching their own conciliation. They exchanged ugly words, anger, complaints, conflicts. The more time went by, the more afflicted they were. They wanted the world to be a beautiful garden, but it is not. They declared themselves atheists. However, they kept crumbs of little faith. A sadder moment came along. He claimed that the boss, Elijah, recommended the abnegation of traveling for 3 days. It was the business of his job. The wife protested, showing a bitter smile. He stood up and exclaimed, "My life became a hard bone." Then the servant exclaimed, "All set for lunch." Soon after, he was absent to fulfill the duty. The wife refused to say goodbye. She did not know what to do. After the absence, he was back. He entered the room slowly. In the bedroom, he noticed the wife dressing a little one. Seeing him, she gladly exclaimed, "Our beloved son was born." Then he stood aside. He hugged her delicately, then stood aside, contemplating the little one as one who ponders and compares and shows in the signs of the copy of his own face. He cheerfully said, "My flower." Okay, hold on a second. "My flower. He will have my affection. Now we have at home, our beloved son." He kissed the wife in tears, losing the sad manner, united before the newborn. Staring at his robes, they hugged each other happily, acknowledging God. I told this long story in which love unfolds to say that the family is the greatest blessing of the earth. First came the will, then the attraction in between. They say that above friendship, there is light, the light of love that shines. Okay. This is Chico Xavier. The spirit author is Antenor Horta. I'm not so sure who he was, but the point is Emmanuel, as the editor of all the works that came through Chico Xavier, asked Chico to compile this message within this book, Open Light. What does he have to do with hope? Everything, because everything begins in our family. If I go to the book, Thought in Life, Chapter 12, Emmanuel says, family relationships can be considered an important basis of our mental reflexes. Such reflexes can be pleasant or unpleasant according to what past brings back to us. So, okay, I guess I didn't put it right. So, friends, family is so important. But we're coming at a time in which many people are not giving the importance that it needs. At the end of the day, we know there's no preparation, right? We prepare ourselves to be business people. We even do masters in business administration. We prepare ourselves to be doctors, nurses, psychologists, pharmacists, anything, accountants, anything. But when it comes to the most important works, being a parent, forming a family, zero preparation. Majority of people on earth, zero. I'm not going to say everybody, but there's no actual standard, pattern, an actual course that goes deep within. I know some churches do it, some temples. We're talking about the depth of it all. I know some religions, the Jewish tradition, Christian tradition in general, they offer courses in it in some synagogues, in some temples, churches. True. But the question for us is, we're talking about a social component of life. And there's nothing standard that is out there to train and coach us. So, what's happening nowadays? Families that are apart, right? And the mix and match. Very complicated. Chico Xavier used to say that there'll be a time we'll have a course. We need a course for parents and also for couples who want to form a family. So we can tell how far we are from an evolved planet, a more evolved planet. A more evolved planet will be much more committed in terms of preparing its citizens for the most important jobs and works, the missions, which are parenting and of the spouse. And why do I include the spouse? Because you can destroy somebody's life by being married to someone. It's risky. It is risky. It is wonderful. But if you do not get along, you can make somebody else's life miserable very hard. So when people get married, they need to understand that it's not a walk in the park. Like he's saying here, this is not my words. Antenor Horta said that these characters here, they thought that world as a beautiful garden, but it's not. It's not. In the sense, our planet on Earth is still trials, expiations, marching in a transition to regeneration. But we're not there yet. Look around and we see, if you see in your home, in yourself, everywhere, we're still being tested big time. We're still afflicted about many expiations we go through. And when people get together, it's not simple. Why? The spirits explain. Our greatest impediments to evolution are selfishness and pride. So when people live together, they need to learn to be less selfish and less proud. But are we trained to do that? Do we train our children to do that? Usually not. We allow people to be raised thinking they are the center of the world. And then we are limited to that selfish, egotistic way of being. Life in a family becomes very difficult. Many people get married for the wrong reasons. They get married because she's so beautiful. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, I love having sex with this person. Oh, it feels so good to travel with this person. Oh, they're so funny. Oh, they have a lot of money. You know what? They're influential. Oh, they are celebrities. And then all the excuses. It's not going to go far. So we need to make sure that we understand what it is about. Plus, nowadays, many couples stay together and without any particular goal, they live a selfish life as a couple, just for one another. If you go to the Spirit's book, Law of Reproduction, we're going to read that it's a law to reproduce. We don't have to, as long as we're multiplying the talents. If you have a sacred mission that the two of you are working together with, fine. But if not, being together, being married just to have fun, have sex, have an easy life and travel, we don't think that's going to be very divine. It's very selfish. So in this case here, Antenor Horta shows to us that we only form a family when we have a child. A couple in itself is not a family yet. It's the foundation. It's like a house, the foundation, but it's not the house. So the couple is a foundation, but the family is completed by having children. Many couples are sad and depressed and suffering and afflicted because they are refusing to open their hearts to children. And in a previous study here of Hope and Light, we saw a poetry talking about the fact that it's another story, right? Telling us about the importance of welcoming those who are to be reincarnated. Maria Dolores told us that poem and even mentioned about the fallacy and the failure of abortion and the consequences of it all. So for us here, where's hope in it all? The hope comes when we understand that we are incarnated to serve, to learn, to love, and to serve. To learn, to love, and to serve. I am reincarnated to learn to do good, and to do good is not only for myself. Good is beneficial to all. It's win-win for everybody. It's not only for one side. So in this case, dear friends, tonight we're being asked to revisit our family lives. I know you may feel guilty, but guilt doesn't resolve anything. We need to be responsible. So what can we do? Go back and revisit feelings. I'll give a story. Amália Domingos Soler, in the book Reincarnation in Life, she talks about the story of a mom and a son. And one day he starts dating a girl who is of a lower class. The mom doesn't like her, doesn't want him to get married to her, and she even says, you can date her all you want, but when I find the person of our social class, I'm going to make arrangements for you so you can get married. Both the son and his girlfriend understood the mom, respected, were very abnegated. They surrendered to it all. Interesting enough, years go by, and the mom says, now it's your turn. You need to get married. Say goodbye. Well, he got married as his mom wanted, moved to another city, far from that girl, but they kept corresponding to each other. One day, that girl is at deathbed. And once she's there, she invites him to come and say goodbye. He goes. She dies in his arms. And then later, he goes back home. His mother died. Amália Domingos Soler couldn't understand why. It's as if the mother waited for the woman to die. So she asked the spirit mentor, and the spirit mentor said, yes, you're right. In a previous life, this couple who didn't get to be married in this life, they were married in a previous life. They loved each other, and they had a daughter. That daughter started dating a musician. They didn't approve of it because they were of different socioeconomic class. So they were very violent. They separated the couple and even exiled that man the musician. He died. He didn't forgive them. After that, the daughter discarnates out of depression, though she forgave the parents and even understood their side. Later on, when the parents discarnate, there is the planning of our new reincarnation, and this is the current reincarnation. So they had to expiate. They were coming in different socioeconomic classes, and then the man, the musician who was exiled, reincarnated as the mother of the very man, the father of the previous life. Okay, so it's interesting. The musician of a previous life comes back as the mother of that father who didn't allow him to get married to the daughter. So interesting, first aspect, he reincarnates the musician as a woman, which happens, and to love the son and understand both. But does he or she? No. So in the name of love, he avenges the previous life. The couple expiated the separation, but the musician just acquired a new karma. Interesting, huh? How many families go through these issues? Now we're here to reincarnate and make amends, but we don't. As our Antenor Aorta says, they were supposed to, instead of being bitter with one another, they should reconcile. The question for us tonight and exercise in the next 24 hours, since we're doing the countdown to the birth of the Christ, and he said, blessed are the peacemakers. Tonight we're being asked, are we being conciliatory? Are we making efforts to reconcile? Or are we stubborn and giving justifications to postpone the reconciliation? Whether it's between spouses, parents and children, relatives, it's a question of, are we making efforts to reconcile or not? If yes, kudos. If no, let's run. Because as Jesus said, take advantage of this moment while you're walking through this pathway, because later you don't know. If they discarnate and we stay incarnated, we'll be obsessed. Or we may reincarnate and have to be forced to be reconciled in another manner. So take advantage of the moment and let go of the ego. Forgive and forget. Begin anew. Let go of the old to letting the new, right? Let go of the old to letting the new of the good. Right, Lisa Teles? So this is our message from Antenor Horta today, life and love. We need to invest in our family harmonization. Are you investing on it? Invest with all your might, because God wants you to be happy and everyone in your life as well. Shall we, friends? Welcome to this nourishing moment here at Kardec Radio. We hope that you enjoy this exercise in the next 24 hours to boost the hope in you and the hope in your family, because at the end of the day, we're all children of God. So I know we have feelings, but let's refresh our minds, look at them and say, I believe in the divine in you. I believe in the divine in you. You are a child of God. You and I are made to get along. Visualize it. It will come along. Whether it happens today or tomorrow, we don't know. Remember Judas? Judas failed right there in the circle of the Christ. Was it Jesus' fault? No. But soon after, he came back and worked with Jesus. You know that Judas reincarnated later as Joan of Arc and prepared the grounds for the promised consoler later in France. So the beauty of it all is that there are no hard feelings between us and God. Okay? Don't be ashamed. If you did anything wrong, begin anew. After all, we are children of God and we deserve to be happy. Why? Because we're children of God. Right, friends? So this is where hope comes in. Okay? Let us work on reconciliation and believing the good that exists in all of us. This is hope, the divine stimulus pointing to progress. It requires a lot of, as Emmanuel says, and forgive me, I'm just going to quote exactly the words. He says, hope is the force of understanding and waiting. Hope in our family. Let's boost the hope in our families, shall we? And renew ourselves because family is sacred. Much love to you, dear friend. A lot of hope in the family and inside of you. Thank you for being with us at Kardec Radio tonight. Many blessings, and until tomorrow, God willing.